Hi everyone, welcome to Secondhand Smoke. So let's jump right into it. Public safety alert from the DEA. The DEA reports widespread threat of fentanyl mixed with xylazine. What is xylazine, you may ask? Xylazine is making the deadliest drug threat our country has ever faced fentanyl even deadlier. So just when you thought fentanyl was the worst thing we've ever seen, well, here it stepped it up a notch. DEA has seized xylazine and fentanyl mixtures in 48 of 50 states. The DEA laboratory system is reporting that in 2022, approximately 23% of fentanyl powder and 7% of fentanyl pills seized by the DEA contained xylazine. So what is this xylazine? So people who inject drug mixtures containing xylazine can also develop serious wounds, the rotting of human tissue that may lead to amputation. So let's see what the folks over at News Nation has to say about xylazine.
Well, the drug epidemic has tightened its grip on addicts, and now a growing threat that's turning people into what some are calling living zombies. For example, in Philadelphia, zombie-like addicts, their nearly lifeless bodies covered with sores, causing their limbs to rot. It's all caused by an animal tranquilizer that's being mixed with opioids. It's called xylazine, the street name Trank. It's deadly. It's resistant to Narcan. Reporter Mary Murphy visited this area in Philly and saw the impact firsthand.
Never heard of Trank. I never heard of Trank or anything, man, until I came here.
Alarm bells are sounding in Philadelphia about Trank.
You'd see people kind of like walking around looking like animals when their knuckles are touching the ground.
Now Art El Malik's hands and knuckles are swollen to 3 times their natural size from exposure to the animal sedative xylazine, street name Trank.
When I was leaving, somebody had samples, and that's what got me stuck, man. They had samples of pretty dope.
The xylazine now mixed into 90% of Philadelphia's fentanyl and heroin supply, drugs that drive fatal overdoses.
Adding a horse tranquilizer, something more sedating, makes it feel like it lasts longer.
But now fentanyl addicts newly addicted to xylazine, seen nodding out and falling over along Philadelphia's notorious Kensington Avenue, are also developing dangerous sores on their bodies.
Next thing you know, you wake up with these big holes all over you, these sores in your legs and wherever. They just pop out of anywhere.
Have the doctors told you that you could lose your leg?
Yes.
And that's not enough to get you to stop?
Trying. It's a lot easier said than done.
Art El Malik knows infection could precede amputation.
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility. Yeah, it's a possibility. A lot of my friends have lost their limbs already.
Withdrawal symptoms associated with Trank can be brutal.
I tried like cold turkey, man. I had a seizure and everything.
You have problems on your legs?
I did, man. I had like a hole in my shin, and I could literally put 2 fingers in there.
We noticed one young man in a wheelchair missing his left foot. A federal law enforcement source told Pix 11 News vials of xylazine have already been found in New York City stash houses that produce drugs, and it's spreading to other states.
Last I heard, it's probably at least 36 or so. It's spreading pretty rapidly.
Even though the animal tranquilizer xylazine is causing some people to lose their limbs here in Philadelphia, it is not listed as a controlled substance in the United States. The Drug Enforcement Administration does not regulate it.
A non-regulated supply, there's going to be anything and everything.
How can I help you?
Prevention Point Philadelphia has nurses helping with wound care, nutrition, and clean needle supplies. But the drug dealers abound on Kensington Avenue. Ralph Dixon, a lifelong Philadelphia resident, told us he's never seen anything like what's happened with Trank.
They are no place for these people. That stuff is like eating this stiff flesh away. It was probably too potent for a human being to be taken anyhow. The drug dealers.
All right, that's enough. Yeah, so as you can see, it's eating away at people's flesh. Apparently it's resistant to Narcan. If you don't know what Narcan is and overdose resistant. So if somebody overdoses, you could hit them with Narcan to help them, stop the overdosing process and bring them back. Yeah. And then this one dude in there said someone was giving out free samples of this shit. So here, this is what really fucks me up. Like, you have a drug dealer who this is new to him, and he's giving out fucking free samples. Now these people are addicted to this horse tranquilizer. They're calling it Trank on the streets. And so we're past the part of fentanyl. Like, so we started with heroin, and then we got to the point where it's being laced with the fentanyl, and people have grown okay to their heroin being laced with fentanyl, which is a goddamn shame. It's fucked up. And now we're to the point where people got a new addiction to this trank shit, which has hit people who use illegal drugs may not be aware of presence of xylazine. The DEA has seized xylazine and fentanyl mixture in 48 of 50 states. So it's everywhere now. The shit that's eating your fucking skin. Folks, you gotta be careful. If you know someone's on drugs, tell them they gotta be careful. Drug overdoses are up 30% year over year. Over 96,700 people die from drug overdoses in a year. Opioids are a factor in 7 out of 10 overdose deaths. And 1 million drug overdoses have killed people since 1999. So my question is, like, what's going on with the average person? Because clearly we're getting new drug addicts. These aren't just the same drug addicts that's been using drugs for over years. These we're doing something in society is creating new drug addicts. With shit like this going on, I don't understand who the hell just wakes up one day and says, life is so bad that I'm going to try heroin. Life is so bad that I'm going to try meth. I just don't understand, like, what we're doing as a society, as parents, as friends, as whomever. Like, how is this happening time over time? There's a huge drug problem in this country. Drug Enforcement Administration announces the seizure of over 379 million deadly doses of fentanyl in 2022. And now we got to worry about this trank shit on top of it. But just to talk about the fentanyl, I seen this guy, Senator John Kerry, he tweeted something that they have seized enough fentanyl to kill the whole United States over 28 times. So the whole population of the United States, not just once, not just twice, but 28 times they have seized. And I'm sure they're not seizing nearly enough, or near close to the amount that's actually slipping under the rugs. The shit that they're not catching, I'm sure they're only catching like 10% of the shit. Like, we've got a serious problem, and here's a picture of how much fentanyl it takes next to a penny. This is how much fentanyl it takes right here to kill a human being, a little speck. There's this one anecdote of this young college girl who overdosed, was a fentanyl overdose, and her parents are like, how could this happen? She was such a straight A, da 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 da. And the police go searching her bedroom, and they found half a Xanax pill in her drawer. Which, kids are going to experiment. Kids are going to try drugs. And that's the fucked up part about pills, is because there's something so harmless about popping a pill. You know, it's not like you shot heroin into your fucking vein and, you know, whatever the case may be. The popping of the pill is a lot more harmless than, you know, smoking something or shooting something or whatever the case may be. So, but back to this young lady. This is somebody that was trying to be responsible. They found so she took half a Xanax pill, which should not kill anyone, but it was laced with fentanyl. And just this little speck here could kill you. And now you got this zombie drug, Trank, hitting the streets. 48 out of 50 states it's hit. Whoa, we got to figure out something. You know, I seen this video here on Twitter the other day, and it's pretty fucked up.
Y'all get home safe.
This guy.
Hey, bye, kids. Y'all get home safe, okay? Y'all get home safe. Get home safe, all right? I'm sorry y'all gotta be going through see all this shit. Okay? Get home safe.
Get home safe.
They gotta walk through this shit. Come on, man.
Every yard now.
These little kids gotta walk through this shit. This shit is crazy.
Yeah, that's fucking wild that these kids gotta walk through that, you know, on their way home from school, whatever the case may be. Shout out to Libs of TikTok for sharing that. You know, you got kids walking through open drug markets home from school. You know, that was in San Francisco. And my home city, Philadelphia, is just notorious. I think they said it's one of the, you know, most popular open air drug markets on the East Coast. Said people come from all over the states to get the drugs that's out on Kensington Avenue. But here's a little preview of what goes on out here. Yeah, you know, like this, there's many videos. If you want to just YouTube Kensington Ave, Philadelphia, there's so much content on it. It doesn't make any sense, and it's sad, you know. I just don't know why there's so much despair, so much, you know, just hurt people that's willing to live this life, live in tents, live in, you know, all of this craziness, you know, live this way. You know, and this ain't just Philadelphia and San Francisco. This is going on in every city across the states. It may not be as big as these places, but like, I don't know what our government's going to do about this. You know, I recommend that we regulate and, you know, like, you got to have safe drugs for people to use. Until we figure out how to get people off drugs, you got to give them safe drugs to use. You can't let motherfuckers be selling people horse tranquilizer and letting their fucking flesh, like, limbs fall off of their fucking body. It's eating their flesh. Like, what are we doing? And the fucking the war on drugs has long been lost. You know, I believe that began in the late 60s, early 70s, the war on drugs. Like, what? It's only getting worse. This thing said drug overdose deaths are up 30% year over year. I don't even know how that makes sense, because you would think in 3 years everyone would be dead, but I don't even get how that math works. But that's the National Center for Drug Abuse Statistics, so I'll let the experts tell y'all about it. But what are we doing? How are we going to help people? Because we're not winning the war on drugs. You got people standing out in the streets looking like zombies, limbs falling off their body, and kids walking through it on the way home. And so what are we going to do? I don't know. But something needs to be done. It's sad. Well, for everyone. For the user, for the people that have to walk home from school or work in this mess, and just, as a whole, for this country. Like, people used to, like, Philadelphia is where they signed the Declaration of Independence in 1776, when this whole thing began. Some people might argue that it began in another time, but that's neither here nor there. Arguably, Philadelphia should be the capital of this whole country, since that's where everything began. A lot of history's there. And that's how it looks. Like these videos I just showed you, open air drug markets and shit. Is the same as San Francisco, which used to be such a beautiful place. Now you have human feces in the fucking streets, and tents, and whatever else. What are we going to do about it? Like, we like these people that get in office and say, I'm going to help fix homelessness. Like, what how are we doing it? What are we doing? It's only getting worse. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. All right. That's all I got for today. I hope you enjoyed, and make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.